Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Football Fanatic, and today I am doing the Cleveland Browns and what I predict them, not predict them, but how I feel their season will be. And not only that, I feel like they're a very underrated team, and this is why I believe they're going to be contenders next year. And contending, I mean as in a high playoff team, high caliber team, so they'll make it far in the playoffs. I'm not saying Super Bowl, but probably divisional conference they'll make it in, I believe. So let's get into it. First off, they were named very overrated last season because of their poor performance of their quarterback. But I feel like it was just a down year for Baker Mayfield, and that's where it starts off on is Baker Mayfield. He's going to have to get better next season. He threw 22 touchdown passes for 21 interceptions. And I feel like next season, this was a learning season, and he's going to take time over this off season and get to know himself as a quarterback and learn his receivers. And I feel like this is going to be another step forward for Baker Mayfield, and he's going to come back even stronger next season. And this all relies on Baker Mayfield and his play, and I feel like it's going to be phenomenal. Next, let's go over the running backs. We have Kareem Hunt, and we also have Nick Chubb. Two amazing running backs, two dual threats. Probably the best duo core in the NFL. Kareem Hunt, very good back. Sadly, he's now turned into a backup because of what he's done in the NFL and how his discipline is. But at least he's able to stay on a football team and become one of the best backs, one of the best duo backs in the NFL. I expect two good seasons from both of them being duo backs. I feel like Nick Chubb can eclipse 1,000 yards again, and I see Kareem Hunt getting around 600 to 800 yards next season. Next, let's move on to the receiver position. Receivers on this football team are good. I mean, you have Odell Beckham, who had a down year last year, don't get me wrong, but I feel like he's going to be able to come back from this year 100% healthy, no injury, and I feel like he'll be able to put up 12 to 1,300 yards next season for like 8 to 10 touchdowns for Baker Mayfield. Really come out and blossom as his former self and the receiver he used to be, and really come out of his shell again. And then you have Jarvis Landry on the slot. Jarvis Landry, he's a spectacular receiver, and everyone knows that. He had 1,200 yards almost last season. I feel like he'll be able to eclipse 1,000 yards again, probably 1,100 like last season, maybe 6 to 8 touchdowns. And then Rashad Higgins, if they give him a shot, I feel like he's a good player, man, and I don't know why they don't use him as much. I mean, he only had like 50 yards last season. I feel like if they use him next season, he will be spectacular. And I feel like if they're able to use Rashad Higgins correctly on the outside, I feel like he could put up 6 to 700 yards and 5 touchdowns and really have three of the best receivers in the NFL, a three-core receiving core. And then you even look at the tight end spot. I mean, you got David Njoku, and you also got what? Eric Ebron as a tight end. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. Austin Hooper as a tight end. I mean, two duo tight end sets. I mean, this offense is going to be explosive. But what I was talking about earlier is this all relies on how Baker Mayfield can play this season and how he'll be able to blossom as a quarterback over time. He's going to need to play at his best potential he can. And it also relies on this offensive line. If they can stay healthy and if they can keep Baker Mayfield from getting sacked. I mean, what? Baker Mayfield was one of the most sacked quarterbacks last year. They need to improve onto that. And even the Browns rookies this year, I mean, they had a pretty good draft class. They got an offensive tackle, another safety to build that defense up. They got an offensive lineman. I mean, they are really stacking up on players, and I feel like they're one of the better rosters in the NFL because they're able to build so much from the draft because of their previous seasons. So as we shift from the offensive side to the defensive side of the thing of the team, the Browns, let's talk about the defensive side of this football team. And this all starts around the linebacking core. And I feel like the Browns linebacking core, they're gonna be decent next year. I mean, they're not. I mean, they have Mac Wilson, and that's the guy I'm kind of ready for. He is going to be a beast in the NFL. I wanted him on my football team. Mac Wilson, he showed last year as a fifth round pick, I'm pretty sure, or somewhere around that. He put up what, like 80 tackles last season? I mean, he had an interception. He is one of the most underrated players on this football team. I feel like he is going to be an absolute phenom in the next few seasons. I could even see him being a Bobby Wagner 2.0. Um, and then back up, you got Sion Takitaki. I feel like he's going to be a solid backup middle linebacker to help the replacement of Joe Burrow. Sion Takitaki can play that linebacker position, and he can, put up 50 to 60 tackles next year, maybe an interception. I feel like he'll be just as a solid linebacker, just a depth linebacker in the NFL. And then you look at this defensive line, and this defensive line continues to progress every single season. I mean, they got Larry Ogunjobi, 5.5 sacks last year. I could see him getting 5.5, maybe 7, in that range, 5.5 to 7.5, somewhere around there. I feel like he's going to be just another good season from him. Sheldon Richardson, the outside interior to to what Larry Ogunjobi. Sorry guys. I feel like he'll have a pretty decent year, maybe 3.5 sacks, just helping the interior in the pressure and the run stop. I feel like they can be one of the top 5 teams in the NFL with the run stuffing. They got a decent linebacking core and a good defensive line. And we also got to talk about Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett coming back from his suspension had 10 sacks in like 10 games or something like that. Something crazy. I feel like he'll be able to put up another phenomenal season, maybe 14 to 15 sacks next season. He is an amazing defensive tackle. And even though he's had them allegations because of that hit on Mason Rudolph, he's grown from it, and he's grown from that spot, and he is now a better person and player on the field and off the field. I feel like people gotta respect that, and people have to respect that he understands that he made a wrong, and Mason Rudolph made a wrong as well, and they just both need to forget about that and move on from that and just play football. I know there's gonna be a lot of tension against the Steelers and the Myles Garrett next season, but they just got to get over that and just really just understand each other more. It was bad on both parts. You also got Olivier Vernon, who can be a solid outside linebacker when you need him, defensive tackle, outside linebacker. I feel like he only played like 10 games last season and put up 3.5 sacks. I think he can put up 6 sacks next season as a defensive end. I mean, he's a very talented defensive end. At one point, he was a very good All Pro Bowl defensive end in Miami, and I feel like he can recreate that if he just is able to stay healthy next season. Next we're gonna go into the cornerback position. Cornerback position, you got Denzel Ward, who is an extremely good cornerback. He's very young and it still has time to grow as a cornerback, and I feel like he's going to be a very good cornerback in the NFL for years to come. I mean, it's shown. I mean, he's able to put 5 interceptions up in 2 years, which is phenomenal as a guy that just came out of college. Next, you got just some depth players, as in Terrence Mitchell. He put up 1 interception last year. I feel like he's just a depth player, and if they have him as a starter, he'll play solid. I don't really know all of the Browns cornerbacks, but I'm pretty sure they have a pretty decent cornerback set compared to other teams in the NFL, because some teams have very bad cornerbacks. Also you have Greedy Williams, and I feel like he's going to have a better season than he did last year. Greedy Williams was showing some signs last year, flashes. I mean, he put up, I don't think he got an interception last year, but he was starting to come on late in the year, and I feel like he can become a better talent than he was last year, and I feel like he will be a better talent. And then lastly, I want to talk about the safety spot. And first of all, I want to talk about Grant Delpit. I feel like he'll be a solid safety. I think might be a Pro Bowl safety next year. I mean, he was the best safety in college, I believe, last year, coming out of college. And then you also talk about the other corner, the strong safety next to him, who's Demarius Randall. I mean, Demarius Randall, he has shown progression throughout his years in the NFL. I mean, he's starting to age. I'm pretty sure he's 28 or something like that, but I feel like he'll be able to have a decent season. And he put up no picks last year, which was a down year for him because 2018 was able to put up 4 interceptions. But I feel like he'll be able to come back from last year and be able to put up some interceptions. He's turning 28 in August, still in the prime years of his career. And lastly, since we went over their whole team and how I feel about them, I think we should talk about how I feel they will end up in the NFL. I feel like they will be able to come second in their division behind the Ravens, but I feel like they're going to be able to branch out and win the wild card game, maybe even win the divisional game and move on to the conference championship. But the only thing is I don't think they're close enough to get to the Super Bowl just yet. I feel like they still need to groom Baker Mayfield still, and I feel like their highest peak they'll make is the conference championship. I don't think they'll be able to get farther than that. But I want to hear your guys' predictions for this Browns football team. Please leave them below. I feel like they're going to be an underrated team next season. If you guys do agree, please tell me what you agree on and what you disagree on. Let's settle this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. My name's Football Fanatic, guys, and I'm out. Peace.